Hey everybody! We're here in my tiny house. Savy Sweets with you. I'm Savy.
Sweets here.
And we are going to be talking to you today about how to travel to Italy on a budget for cheap with not a lot of money.
Traveling the world with Savy Sweets. Yeah!
Important information for you right now.
If you don't want to watch this entire video because we get it, we have a lot of information. A lot of information. And good information. But if you don't need to know all of the information, check out below. We will have timestamps. Check out the timestamps.
Subscribe.
Alright, so we've covered the pre-travel shenanigans, but now you're actually there. How do you save money once you're in Italy? Well, Savannah is going to start us off with a few tips for you.
Well, first of all, we talked about accommodation. One thing I didn't mention is it's a good thing to find an Airbnb or hostel with a kitchen. Some don't, so it's good to look and see, do they have a kitchen? Can you cook food there? Because that can save you a lot of money. You don't need to be eating out every single meal. That will drain your bank account.
Yeah, and if you are eating out, especially in Italy, you want to, it's fun to go to the touristy places, but those are usually a little bit more expensive.
True.
And sometimes they're not even as good. So
True.
I would say grocery stores are one of the better ways to go.
I was given a tip by a local who said, don't eat somewhere with pictures on the menu or that is facing a main square, because they're going to be geared towards the tourists and they're not going to be the local quality of food that you can get in other places. And some are even just in Italian. Those are probably the best, but also the most difficult. Well, just not as convenient. But you can download on your phone. There's a Google Translator. I think it's an app. And then you can take a picture of the menu or whatever you want to translate, and it will translate it for you. Really handy. Go out for we went out for one meal a day, or dinner, or a late lunch, and kind of splurged a little bit there. And also where you're at, look for a Jewish ghetto, the Jewish area. Especially in Rome, they have a Jewish area, way cheaper, really good quality of food, and it's not as touristy because not as many people go there. So there's more locals, you can get more bang for your buck.
Also, there are markets that you can potentially barter with people for food for cheap. There was one day when we were at the market and I may have shown up, and Savannah, this is another pro tip, be a girl and barter people to get things for cheaper. There's markets where you can find things for cheap, and you can also, there's a lot of samples you can try out, and you can honestly make a couple laps and you can be good for a meal, honestly.
Yeah. Really cool markets everywhere. I spent maybe an hour in one market just walking the block because there's a lot of the same booths. So there's limoncello of the yin yang. There's limoncello of all flavors. And you walk up, you go, which one do I want to buy? And they come out and say, oh, well, do you want to try them all? They give you a little cup.
You can't say no.
And so they give you a taste of every flavor. There's melon, coconut, coffee,
white chocolate,
which was really good.
Yeah.
Lemon, the classic, lots of flavors. And by the end of, let's say, the second round of samples, you're a little bit buzzed.
Yes,
a lot bit buzzed.
I may have met up with Savannah one day when we were in Rome, and it was 10:45 a.m. and we had gone on our separate ways for a nice morning walk just to regather ourselves. And then I met up with her, and she was had a bunch of limoncellos that she had tried, and she was having a great time.
But another good thing, I love truffles. Truffles. I love truffles. And they have a lot of samples of pestos, put them on crackers, truffle sauces and stuff. We left there with limoncello. I got this thing of truffle red pesto, which was delicious. And I bartered with him a little bit.
I think I got a mango smoothie or something. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
It wasn't that good.
It wasn't that good. Another tip, if you like coffee and you're a coffee drinker, in Italy you want to drink your coffee standing up. You want to stand up at the bar and drink like the locals. They get their espresso or whatever you're drinking. Don't get a huge, giant coffee.
Don't be basic.
Anyways, drink your coffee standing up because they will charge you to sit down. They charge you for the seats. There is a surcharge. So let's say your €1 coffee goes to 1.80, €2 even. It can double in price just to sit down in their seats. So drink it standing up. Eat your croissant standing up. In Italy, sometimes they have these specifically wine shops. And there is wine by the barrel. They have little faucets on their barrels. And they charge... We were in Venice, and it was in the Jewish area, like I've already suggested. Yeah.
Oh.
That was the Jewish area.
Yeah.
Anyways, you can go there and get, I think we got 2 liters of wine for €1.20.
It was a great day.
It was a great day.
In fact,
so yeah, it's really fun. You can get a huge water bottle full, 2 liters of wine for like €1. You're saving so much money. And if you can't find a store like that, just go to the grocery store. You can get a box of wine, a bottle of wine for €1, €2, €3. I mean, you don't need to spend more than €5-6 on an entire bottle or a liter of wine.
It's not all about drinking wine.
It's not.
But you can definitely get cheap, pretty local wine. That's really good.
Yeah.
So.
Because it's not all about the wine, but it kind of is. Like, in Italy, they drink a lot of wine. You want to experience the culture while you're there. And I feel like, I mean, other people might say differently, but I didn't feel like drunk a lot of the time.
We'll let some of the footage decide.
I just like having a good time, you know?
So yeah, there's also a few tips about when you're at restaurants eating out in order to save money. Savannah, what are those tips?
Little bit of tips. When you're at a restaurant in Italy, what you may not realize is there are surcharges for, well, sitting down, like I told you. They're charging you for the experience, the lighting. You don't have to really tip when you're in Italy because there will be a service charge included most of the time. But you know, you can still tip. Be a prosperous human being. Not up to me, that's up to you. They will also charge you for water. So if you ask for water, they will bring you bottled water, like a glass bottle of water. So if you want water, specify tap water. Some places will say, well, we don't have tap water. And then that's up to you if you want to pay for water or not.
Well, yeah, usually we would just have our water bottles, which may or may not have had wine in them.
That's unknown. Also, they might bring you out like packaged breadsticks, like hard breadsticks in packages. And you're like, oh, these look decent. Let me crack one of these. Right when you crack that open, they're charging you
20 cents a breadstick.
At least. So you want to ask them. If they bring it out and it looks really good and you want one, maybe just ask. Say, does this charge money?
Yeah.
Does this cost money?
If you want it, get it. If the breadstick looks suspect and you're not willing to pay the money, just say no. Just say no to drugs. So yeah, when you're in Italy, you're probably wondering how you should get around. What's the cheapest way to get around to all the monuments and all the things you want to do?
So, depending on where you are, if you're in a big city and you can walk everywhere, do it. Get the exercise in. It's awesome. You don't feel like you're walking around so much because you're seeing so much. But if you are outside of the city, if you are far away, check out the local transportation system, metro, bus, train. I can't say specifically because I'm talking about Italy as a whole, and each place is going to be a little different, but a lot of times there are metro systems. There will be like, you can pay a certain amount and get a certain amount of metro rides, or getting from city to city in Italy. Look up the train tickets versus the bus tickets. Flixbus is a really good way. We use Flixbus a lot. We got from Venice to Bologna and Bologna to Rome on Flixbus, and it was very cheap. It was very inexpensive. So look into that. And then if you're just looking about getting around in the city that you are in, there's most likely like a metro system or a local train or bus system. So look into that. You're not gonna need to rent a car or want to, honestly. Like, okay, again, that's up to you, but those streets are tiny.
Yeah, when we were in Rome around the Pantheon, we did take a taxi from the bus ride to our specific place at the Pantheon, but you don't want to be driving in the little alleys that they are because it's just so...
Yeah.
You're already worrying about so much new around you that it's just like incredibly overwhelming, and the way that people drive over there is different.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's a lot different.
If you've been to Mexico, it may be similar to Mexico, but
people get really close. Like,
oh my god,
pedestrians. When we were in the taxi, our taxi driver was like within a few inches of people, of
oh my god,
objects, of cars. So basically, just walk.
Walk.
Yeah.
But like getting to and from the airport, it really depends if you're traveling alone or in a group. We were in a group, so it was okay for us to take a taxi because we were splitting it like 5 ways. But if you're just 1 or 2 people, there's usually some kind of bus system to get you to and from the airport for way cheaper. Taxis are pretty expensive, so just use them sparingly. Or, you know, if you're really done with everything and just want convenience, they are convenient. And usually they will say their rate on the outside of how much they'll charge to get from there to the airport, wherever it is.
The last category that we're going to be talking about in this video, as far as when you're in Italy and you want to be saving some money, is when you are looking for a touristy thing to do. In Italy, there's a lot of monuments that you might want to find. There's probably tours. And so Savannah, once again, has all the secrets for you to save money.
There's a lot of things to see. A lot of free things to see as well. A lot of free monuments. But there are some cool museums and things that do cost some money. So make sure you do your research and to see if there's a time when you're there that it might be free. There are some free museum days. Or you might happen to be there on some holiday that they are
given a special or something.
Observing. There could be a holiday that Italy observes.
That's what you
I just couldn't think of the word. So do your research on where you want to see. Also, different hostels sometimes will give free day tours. They'll take you out to some local hotspots and it's free. Free. You want to look at the free things. There's free walking tours for different cities. There's a lot you can do that doesn't cost too much. But there are some things that you might want to splurge on. We splurged on the Vatican. We went to the Vatican.
Saw the Pope.
We saw the Pope. We had a meeting about new world orders.
You know, just the usual business with the Pope.
Yeah.
Went to the Colosseum.
Oh, the Colosseum. And that actually comes in a package deal. So if you're paying to go to the Colosseum, you're not only paying for the Colosseum, you're also can be paying for the Roman Forum and also some basilica. So basically look into little
What's a basilica?
A basilica is like a church.
Oh.
Also to save money, bring some things that cover your knees and cover your shoulders because you are going to want to go into these basilicas and into these churches and they're not going to let you in. If you got your sexy shoulders showing or your sexy knees or your thighs, you got to cover that stuff up because otherwise
you're going to be looking ridiculous and you're just going to be, you got to buy. We'll show you the photo.
Cut to Bologna. Andrew here and Gonzalo, they got swindled into paying multi-euros for this ridiculous poncho.
So we had to wear these things because we weren't wearing proper attire, and they're like these blue gowns that kind of were reminiscent of like a hospital thing that you'd wear. And we went in there and we realized we were the only ones that were wearing them, and we looked really dumb, and we had to pay money to look really dumb.
So save some money. Yeah. Bring maybe a shawl or a scarf you can wrap around.
Just
take your hostel's bed sheet.
Yeah, steal
everything.
Steal things. That's how you save money. Steal.
It's cool not to bring a ton of luggage. That will save you money, not having to check in a bag. Hold my wine, Andrew.
All right.
Subscribe to our channel. Subscribe.